Hi everybody, welcome back to the Collective. My name is Salvador, and this is Tool's Lateralus. And let me tell you why this is a really, not only a good album, but a very big-brained album too. Now, Tool is an not experimental, I keep saying that. They are a progressive not rock. Wow, I'm bad at intro. Oh, you'd think after an hour of doing takes I'd be a bit more warmed up. Apparently not. Now, Tool's lyrics usually tend to revolve around things like sacred geometry, third eyes, religion, and history, things like that. Very big brain topics. But on Lateralis, you tend to there tends to be less focus on things like chakras and transcendence and religion and things that are not necessarily about us, but just kind of topics that do exist. And it tends to be more personal, a lot of things on this album about reflection, about grudges, about being patient, about communication, all that kind of stuff. And not to say stuff about chakras and third eyes and all that kind of similar stuff isn't on this album. It's just not exactly the focus as it would be on, let's say, albums like Enema or so. Kicking off this album, you got their legendary song "The Grudge," which basically talks about grudges and how they kind of hold you down and really hold down everyone around you, pretty much. And it's best to let them go and transmutate these leaden waters into gold, as Mary James Keenan puts it towards the end of the song. Personally, I think that sort of Maynard's best lines really come through on this track, like how it starts off with a little stanza where the grudge, like a crowd of negativity, calculate what we will and will not tolerate, desperate to control all and everything, and unable to forgive your Scarlet Letterman. And I think when you really dig deep into that line as a whole, it tends to really explain the track as a whole, pretty much most of it at least. And while all the musicians are really good on this album and in the band in general, the main focus is definitely on Maynard and also on Danny Carey, the drummer, who is one of the top 10 drummers in the world. I don't think you could have the band without either of them, pretty much. Now, don't get me wrong, Adam Jones, the guitarist, and Justin Chancellor, the bassist, are definitely really good at what they do. And but to be honest, like, I wouldn't call them the best guitarist and or bassist in the world. They just aren't that good. But people like Danny and people like Maynard are very few and far between. So, and they I think they're the heart of Tool pretty much. Because again, you can't have a lot of the tribal rhythms they have and a lot of the spiritual moments they have without either of them. It just wouldn't happen. Speaking of Danny, holy shit, does he really let off on this track. The drums on this track are bombastic, and the drums across this entire album are really, really rich, and especially at certain points, because he actually tunes the drums, which is a thing. You can tune drums, let me tell you. There are points in this album where you just have the drum track just isolated, just drums only, and it would be great, and it almost comes across as its own instrument, even though it's not technically pitched percussion, because they're played so excellently and tuned so exactly and engineered so great. You can really get away with that on this. This track also famously ends, or at least close to the end, with a big explosion, a big explosion of sound, with Maynard belting out a full-on scream for 30 seconds, which, let me tell you, as a vocalist, is really hard. Not that I would know. In fact, I remember seeing a funny comment somewhere online that someone's friend tried to do the scream, they threw up everywhere, which I find quite funny. After that scream happens, you have Maynard just kind of repeating "let go, let go, let go," almost like a mantra. And then you have one of Danny's best moments to close up the song, and that's another thing I think not everyone realizes about Tool, but I see people complain sometimes that with Tool the songs always sound like they're leading somewhere, but never really going anywhere or never necessarily dropping. The songs themselves are the drop. They are the journey, and they are the like they are the payoff. They don't kind of yes, all the songs kind of like build and build and build and build and end, but that build is what the payoff is. Like the drop on the Grudge, where he belts out the stream, like all the ups and downs. Like the next two tracks, Eon Blue Apocalypse and The Patient, which are connected songs, by the way. Eon Blue Apocalypse being a small interlude, but when The Patient starts, again, after some excellent soundscapes, excellent mixing. If you don't have headphones, when you listen to this album, definitely use them. But when The Patient drops in, again, it's payoff. It feels very, very, not relieving, but it feels, it's almost releasing. And I mean that to say that Tool does an excellent job at building atmosphere and building just a mood and a vibe and a tone. And then they'll kind of lay you down and then they'll smack you out of nowhere, like The Patient does in the intro, like how The Grudge does near the end. And The Patient, again, to get back to the writing, definitely some more top tier writing. And it's basically about being patient. And even that's double entendre where he's talking about, a patient being patient. This song, for me, didn't grab me right away. Well, that's because I was so taken aback by The Grudge and Schism and other songs that I was overshadowed. And eventually, after I listened to those songs a lot, and they weren't as fresh in my mind, going back to songs like The Patient and other less standout songs, they actually tend to stand out equally, if not more. A tad bit unrelated, I feel like a lot of Tool's music tends to be heavy most of the time, or at least be a mix, but there's not a lot of songs, let's say, like Jambi, when they're heavy the entire way, or like Intention, I think it's Intention, where it's calm the entire time. So when you get songs that do that, like Eon Blue Apocalypse, even though it is short, it they do tend to pop out a lot more than they would usually. And again, something to mention, the flow on this album is incredible. After you have The Patient, which talks about, being patient, you have a song called Mantra, which is, if there's a time to be patient, it's this one. And not that the song is long, and it's not that the song is just drags on, or it's hard to listen to, like some Swan songs or anything like that. It's more a matter of it provides a little minute and a half-ish, I think, with this just kind of droning sound, and it gives you a moment to just think and to just be patient and just relax for a minute. And then the song Schism starts, which definitely has one of the best bass lines, you'll probably hear in a long time. Definitely one of the best in, I don't want to say in progressive metal, but it definitely is a very iconic bass line for sure. And this song basically is just a really intelligently written breakup song in a sense, to at least dumb it down a lot. But basically, it's mainly about communication and a party of some sort. It's not clear what it is, but it's kind of implied. It's a couple of some sorts, and it's basically about the degradation and the loss of that communication, and the importance of trying to find that communication again to rediscover it. Presumably, if it is about a couple, it seems to be right after a fight or within a pretty tumultuous time in the relationship with lyrics saying, "I know the pieces fit because I've watched them fall away. No fault, none to blame. It doesn't mean I don't desire to point the finger and blame the other and watch the temples topple over to rediscover communication." And then you have another moment in the middle of the song where it dies down again. Tool spends some time and creates another really calm moment, and then it explodes again, you know, and then the song ends with Maynard again in a very mantra style, kind of screaming, "I know the pieces fit. I know the pieces fit. I know the pieces fit." Kind of saying like, "I know we work together. I know we do. We've done it before." And then the song ends. There's quite actually a lot of moments on this album. I'm gonna think about it, where he's screaming in a mantra kind of way, certain things like "Let it go, let it go, let it go," or "I know the pieces fit. I know the pieces fit," all kind of stuff. And then you have the two tracks, Parabol and Parabola. Now, this is probably I want to say a high point in the album, but all the points are high. All the tracks are amazing. Now, again, Eon Blue Apocalypse and The Patient, these two songs are kind of they're one song. They're labeled as two different parts, I guess. So if you're listening to them, you want to let them kind of transition into each other. You don't want to pause. They're one song. It's not two, it's one. And basically, what Parabola is about is if you are any kind of in any kind of religion, or even if you've watched The Matrix once, I guess, which I haven't seen, it's kind of acknowledging that all of this is not real, and when we die or so, we'll see it's all an illusion or so. With lyrics saying, "In this body holding me, a reminder that I am not alone. In this body holding me, remember, this pain is an illusion. We are eternal." And basically, it kind of is a celebration of life, pretty much. Near the end of the song, kind of realizing and being thankful of quote unquote this chance to be alive and breathing. And let me tell you, the riffs on this on this song, are amazing. I don't think very often you have a guitar solo in Tool, because usually they don't really have guitar solos. They have more just soundscapes and just other things, more rhythmic stuff. But let me tell you, when Adam does start doing solo stuff, ooh, it's done. It's over. When it comes to the end of the song, it ends in a bunch of nature sounds, some water running, some frogs, some birds, and it kind of lays you down again. It really does. And I think Parabola is definitely within itself a very unique experience. And if not really unique, but what's the word? Singular, I guess. You could definitely if when you're on break at your work or so and want some time to just take a break to relax and such, you can just put on Parabol and Parabola, and 10 minutes in and out, you have a very full experience that pretty much you would get from this entire album just shrunken down into 10 minutes. So if you're ever short on time, unfortunate, because you should not split up this album. This album is definitely best listened to front to back. If you listen to any Tool tracks individually, you're not a real fan, I'll tell you that. Why do I do this? Anyways, the song does lay you down very gently at the end, and then absolutely rips you new one with the next song, Ticks and Leeches, where Danny again just goes off the entire song with Maynard screaming that you've beaten his compassion black and blue, and he's left cold and bitter. I read somewhere an interview, I can't remember where I read it, but basically it was them talking about how when the album was done, they presented their label the album, and they said, it's cool, but it'd be really cool if you had some kind of radio song we could kind of commercialize and push, and they gave us some really cool art, and it's really masterful, but we really need something dumbed down for the people. We want something that's, short, 4 minutes maybe, 3-4 minutes, and not really that heavy, can you give us something a bit more pulled back? And their response was this song, a 7 to 8-ish minute long song with that's really intense, with a big portion in the middle where just a nice calm down before the song explodes near the end, and not at all radio friendly at all. And that's where the chorus lyrics come from, which is hope this is what you wanted, this is what you're getting. I hope you choke on this. I don't remember where I read that, and I was trying to look somewhere online to confirm that. And I found a thing saying that Maynard actually blew out his voice recording the song, which I also don't know if it's true or not. Regardless, after that song, you have the title track, Lateralus, which is probably the best track on here. If I had to pick one, it's probably the best for sure. I don't want to do a lot of talking about this track because I'm not going to do it justice. And there is a video on YouTube by Polyphonic about, it's titled How Tool Used Math to Create Lateralus, the song. Not the album. What kind of the album? Anyways, that's a much better deep dive into the song because this song does a lot of very big-brained, smart things. One of those things being they've used the Pinocchio code, the ravioli recipe, to write this song. The good old Da Vinci cipher, the Ferrari, the Bugatti, hot body. Anyways, what really makes this song special is not exactly that they use the Fibonacci sequence, I apologize, to write this song, but it's that by itself the song is really phenomenal and it pulls off this concept without shoving it down your throat, you know? Like, if you didn't know it was written with the Fibonacci sequence, it'd still be a phenomenal song, and it is. And there's a lot more details that most people don't really know about, and that's why I recommend the Polyphonic video. Because, let me tell you again, Tool does a lot of big brain stuff on this song, let me tell you. Like the syllables in Maynard's lyrics reference a sequence, which would be, black and white are all I see in my infancy, red and yellow then came to be, all kind of stuff. Really phenomenal stuff. It's actually really funny because as detailed as this track is, from the lyrics to the rhythms to the time codes in it, not the time codes, but like timestamps. I'm such an internet person. Whatever. Despite all the details in the song, it really is ironic because the first part of the song is all about not overthinking things, with the lyrics saying overthinking and overanalyzing separates the body from the mind, withering my intuition, leaving opportunities behind. And basically, the song is about just letting the universe just take you and just not overthinking things, living the moment, being a free thinker, being unbiased, all that kind of stuff, and just really letting the universe take you. And as well, also in reference to the Fibonacci sequence, you have the lyrics near the end saying to ride the spiral to the end. We may just go where no one's been, talking about, spiral things, Fibonacci things you will understand unless you have a exceptionally high IQ. And basically, when you have this song, it ends again with some stellar production. And let me tell you, I think this is very underrated in music in general, but the engineer, like the audio engineer, and just the people mixing the album tend to kind of be, at sometimes, a hidden, extra member. And with Tool, it's definitely the case, because there are some moments in Tool music or so that are made because of the lyrics, or Danny's drumming, or the guitar work, whatever have you. Some of them are made from the engineers doing really intelligent things, like near the end of this song. right before it drops, it goes and you're right before headphones right into mono, where it's just kind of in the center, and it's very crunched and quiet. And then when the song drops, it explodes into surround sound, and you have all the alternate rhythms and all the alternate time signatures and polyrhythms, all that kind of stuff. And again, you have Maynard chanting things, again, very mantra style, spiral out, keep going, spiral out, keep going. Even a bit before on the song, during the calm down, if you have good headphones on or a good stereo system, in the background you can hear him saying step out, step out, step out, step out. After this song, you have what's known as in the Tool community, I guess if you can call that, the fan base, as the Holy Trinity, which is the next three tracks that all are part of one song: Disposition, Reflection, and Triad. Disposition is basically about, just disposition, about just, it's a guy sitting and just taking in things. I already butchered that explanation a lot. It's basically someone reflecting and just, as the lyrics say, just watching the weather change, just kind of existing and reflecting. Which brings in the next song, Reflection. Some would say Disposition is about the introvert or the guy just kind of sitting around and just, wasting away. But it kind of sets, but other people, again, because all this is interpretational in a way, to an extent, it more so sets up the next song, Reflection, which is, again, Tool tends to Maynard tends to write about this concept a lot. But again, the concept that, as the song says, to crucify the ego before it's far too late, and to realize that we are all one mind. It's very capable of all that's conceivable, I think. Actually, let me look at this for a second. Basically, it's the whole thing of how, like Parabola said, none of this is real. We're all eternal, collective unconscious, all that kind of stuff, all this is an illusion, and basically just kind of getting in touch with that in a way. And this whole song basically is about someone kind of realizing that, and realizing that we're all one mind, and realizing that, everything, all of us are connected, and all that. And it's funny and really smart writing, intentional or not, where at the start of the song, all the lyrics are very compressed, very quiet, and by the end of the song, they slowly get uncompressed and slowly get more open and get louder. And they also kind of get some effects on near the end, and they sound kind of almost ethereal near the end. If you dig deep enough into the lyrics, it's referencing some Buddhist things that honestly I am not knowledgeable enough to talk about at all. And then you have the last song, Triad, which is basically the person, after realizing we're all one mind. You could interpret it as, them, not evolving, but, transcending in a way, because there are no lyrics to the song either. But it is definitely a phenomenal closer. And these last three tracks, Disposition, Reflection, and Triad, again, because Tool likes to build their songs, they all build to the end, which is Triad, it's bombastic and heavy. And again, there's a lot of Tool songs that start off calm and end up heavy or go back and forth, but songs like Disposition or Intention, which are very calm, and songs like, Triad or Hook or the Penis, for example, off of Enema, or songs like The Grudge, were just heavy throughout. Oh wait, I lost my train of thought. I hate this. There's a lot of Tool songs that kind of go in and out from being heavy and not. And when you have songs that are very calm throughout, like Disposition or Intention, or songs that are just heavy throughout, like Triad. Stay with me. The train has left the station. It's gone. It's fucking gone. It's derailed. There's no survivors. They're all fucking dead. It's derailed. It's over. It's fucking over. Disposition and Triad really stand out because one of them is very calm throughout the entire time, and you don't get that often, and the other one is really heavy throughout the whole thing, which you don't get that often. And the actual last song is called Standout, which I probably didn't say right, which means in a language I forgot, I don't think it's Latin, a voice of God. And kind of serves as a little cheeky little nugget, a little joke, a little train has left again. I've been here for an hour and a half recording this. Jesus. Basically, the song is a drum solo with some heavy static on top, and it's not really lyrics per se. It's a spoken word piece. Not even spoken word. It's sampled from a long time ago. I want to say like the 90s, maybe? Some point. It was around the time this album was being done or so. There was a radio show and doing call and stuff, and a guy called in talking about how he was an employee at Area 51, and there's aliens out there, and they're all coming for us, and they're gonna kill us all, and and really losing his mind about it. Really, not having a good time, and basically he's talking about how he talks about this whole plan of what they're gonna do, and he's really not having a good time, and the album just cuts out with a little electronic cut off sound. I don't know how to explain it. The little kind of sound like the old TVs used to do. And if you loop this album, when the Grudge starts, it starts with a mechanical startup sound, which makes the album completely loopable, and definitely makes this album a very unique, holistic unit. It unifies the whole thing, is what I'm trying to say. And a little fun fact most people don't know is that on Tool's next album, 10,000 Days, there are 2 songs called Lost Keys, Blame Hoffman, and Rosetta Stone, which are again one song. And they are about a guy who was in the emergency room for a drug trip. Basically, he just kind of appeared there, and basically tells a story about how he was abducted by aliens and how they told him all these things, and he told them that their plan for the universe, kind of, and the plan for what they're gonna do to everyone, what they're gonna do to all of us, and how they're gonna take over. And and basically told them spread the message. And there's a lyric on that song that says it's a message of hope for those who choose to hear it, and a warning for those who do not. And the song Standout from this album layers perfectly over top of Lost Keys. And Lost Keys is only guitar and I think bass too, and no drums. This not only serves as the drums for that track, but also it serves as the context. Because again, Rosetta Stone, he talks about how they gave him all this information, but he forgets what it is. A lot of lyrics about how he lost his pen, or he shit the bed, as in he really fucked up. And on Standout, it's the guy. This is what he forgot. This is the plan they were referring to. And again, big brain stuff, I gotta tell you. This album is definitely fan-fucking-tastic. As a baseline, I think, in any genre, this is definitely one of the best albums I've ever heard, period. Everything from the art, to the lyrics, to the concepts, to the sounds, everything. It knows what it's doing. It's all a very unifying everything. It all goes together really well. And it's so intelligently thought out. there's so much detail in every single song. I wouldn't be surprised if they hid like QR codes like in the audio files or something. Holy shit, man! Like this album is amazing. Um, 10 out of 10. I think it's my actually first 10 to 10 on this channel. Um, I've been I've been recording this for a long time. I'm gonna guess like I don't know, more than an hour at least. And I'm hungry, so I'm going to leave and make some food. Um, if you like the video, consider dropping a like. Really helps the channel a lot. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe. I do music reviews like this. I also do music reactions to albums that I've not heard before, because I am trying to expand my palette into other genres I'm not really, in tune with, because I do music. I play a lot of things: violin, keyboard, drums that are somewhere else, guitar, bass. I play like 9 things, to be honest. Here at Evermall right now, or at least not. Anyway, it doesn't seem so attached. A train of thought is leaving again. Come back. I play a lot of things, and when it comes to music, I'm trying to expand my palette as much as possible. To hopefully, help me with my writing, because your creative output is only as wide as your creative input. And so basically, I don't know why I even said all that. There wasn't really no point to that. I do reactions here. It doesn't matter why. I do reactions here to albums, full albums. If the videos for some reason are taken down from copyright, I do have a Patreon, which you can go, and they'll be there for free, because I don't like paywalls, especially for things like that. Like, I'm not providing any kind of original content. I mean there's commentary, but that's not really exactly, I don't know, it's whatever. But they are on the Patreon for free if they do happen to get taken down. There also is a general support tier, so if you do want to pledge, I think it's $5 a month, or just support, feel free to do that. Life has been really hectic as of lately, but I will say, starting to smooth out. Things are getting really nice. Things are starting to settle finally. God, there's 17 shitty moves, and I'm starting to settle finally. Long story, not going into it. Basically, things are going good. I'm rambling at this point, but either way, if you want to, Patreon, there's that. I do have a Twitter as well, if you want to follow that Twitter. And basically, like I kind of previously alluded to, my life is at least chaotic and a hellscape most times. So if I can upload for whatever reason, the Twitter acts as a way to let you guys know and basically explain what's going on and when I'm able to upload again, as well as any extra stuff, bonus content, and just general Twitter things, I guess. And that's about it. So yeah, have a good one.